Good evening and a very warm welcome to this program. As always, it's a pleasure to have all of you with us this wonderful evening, and I hope we'll all together spend the next 60 minutes in learning, in sharing, in discussing, in debating, in clarifying, and in growing as well. For those of you who have come in for the first time, my name is Sangeet Ibrahim, and we've been on a journey together, exploring the successories that you need to succeed in life. I've 26 of them for you, one for each letter of the alphabet. So for the last couple of weeks, we were discussing about ambition, and we plan to continue this discussion because ambition and belief are the most important, the most significant, and the most impactful successories of them all. They are like the foundation of a building, ambition and belief, that is. If you set it right, if you spend time on it, if you patiently build it up together, then the rest of the building can come up in a jiffy, and you will not face any problems after that. So we'll continue our discussions on that. So what do we have for you today? Well, if time permits, of course, we'll look at some of the frequently asked questions on the topic of building ambition in children. And we'll also explore some of the common mistakes well-meaning parents make when it comes to motivating their kids. And after our first break, we've got a very special guest with us in the studio. She'll join me on the hot seat. Her name is Maushami Das Gupta, a very celebrated teacher. She's the principal of DPS Dubai, the DPS Academy Dubai, and together we'll explore the challenges that our young friends face today, and we'll try to find strategies on meeting these challenges head-on. But before we get into all that, I would like to wish all of you a wonderful and happy and enriching Republic Day. Let us, for some time, remember with gratitude the sacrifices of everybody who gave us this wonderful country to live and to enjoy and to prosper, especially our brothers and sisters in arms, young men and women in uniform who have made a choice to take bullets on our behalf every day. And we live a life of happiness and tranquility because they are valiantly guarding our borders 24/7. Let us also remember our farmers, our teachers, our scientists, and every common man, each and every common man who has within him the soul and spirit of India. So let's together salute all of them on the wonderful occasion of Republic Day. Now, I want to particularly say something to our young friends who are watching this show. If ever someone comes to you, they may be your parents, they may be your relatives, but if anybody comes to you and tells you that you're different, and if they start talking about our fellow countrymen in terms of us versus them, you need to stop them. You need to stop them and tell them that your generation, thankfully, is different. You need to tell them that you will go out and open your hearts and extend your arms. You will touch, you will feel, and you will celebrate differences. You will never be scared of differences, and you will never keep people away just because they're different. I was reading a very interesting article on some of the tribes in Africa, and it was told that most of these tribes are perishing, getting extinct, getting wiped off the surface of the earth. And what could be the reason? Well, the reason is very simple. They don't mingle with the rest of the world. Okay? They keep to themselves. If they marry within themselves. If they have problems, they discuss it only within themselves. They perfectly abhor differences. They want everything to be the same, and they celebrate singularity and uniformity. Now, what's the problem with that, you might ask? If there are changes happening, like changes in the environment, like changes in the availability of food, any unpredictable changes, that's when the problem comes, if you have a mentality like that. Because no one knows anything different from the others. No one has anything new to suggest. All they have are plain old ideas which had stopped working long ago. So because they don't get any inputs from outside, they are not able to cope with the changes, and they perish. Now, this is a challenge that could face every country every tribe, every team, and every leader. That's why sociologists say that in today's world, only those who have the luxury of getting diverse opinions, as many diverse opinions as possible, who will succeed. I was once doing a training in Switzerland, and in my team, in my room, I had people who spoke French, people who spoke German, and people who spoke Swiss German. Swiss German is a language that is native to Switzerland. And they very proudly said that the technological marvels that come out of Switzerland owe their existence to the rich diversity that they had. And that night, sitting in the hotel room, I somehow managed to pull out a tattered and torn and wrinkled 5 rupee note from my pocket. And I looked at that note and marveled, because on that note, there were close to 12 different languages written. Now, that's how rich the diversity in my country is. If you travel 100 kilometers in any direction, you'll find that the landscape changes, the climate changes, the way people dress will change, their food habits will change, the culture itself changes completely. If at all we could bring together this diversity and use it for the betterment of our nation, then I'm sure nobody can beat us. I'm sure we'll rush to the numero uno position among the nations of the world. So my dear friends, if anybody comes and tells you, even if they are your parents, if they come and tell you about the atrocities committed by erstwhile kings, if they come and talk to you about riots and bloodshed, and if they serve hatred on the dinner table and tell you to hate for the sake of history, for the sake of geography, you have to tell them that yes, we're different. But beneath our differences, we have a lot of things that are common. And you need to tell them that the forces that unite us are much stronger than the forces that divide us. For after all, what is life? What is life without the beauty and the elegance of the diyas of Diwali and the fireworks of Diwali? What is life without the soulful takbirs of Eid? What is life without the melodious carols of Christmas? If I put it another way, what is life without the sadhyas of Onam and Vishu? What is life without the biryanis of Eid and the plum cakes of Christmas? Imagine having to choose one single thing for your rest of your life. How boring would that be? How bland and yuck would that be? It would be like going to a Chinese restaurant for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner, and again the next day for breakfast and lunch and dinner, when you have a food court full of richness and color and taste and diversity around you. So let your generation be different. Embrace that diversity. Celebrate those differences. Make sure that you get opinions from every single person, regardless of how they dress, what they talk, what religion they believe in, and what culture they follow. If you and I can start having this particular attitude, then we can take our beautiful country to her much deserved position among the most exalted nations of the world. So Jai Hind, and wishing you all an amazing Republic Day. Now, I want to share a video with you. Now, I'm sure you would have seen this video. I have seen this video a million times, but every time I see it, I get goosebumps, okay? So I want to share this video with you, and I hope together we can relive that message and enjoy the subtleties that it tells you. Okay, so please do watch this video and enjoy.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर आइए सर एक चल
I hate this country.
चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो। तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, 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 हिंदुस्तान चले।
That video never fails to grip me whenever I watch it, and hope you enjoyed it as well. Well, after our first break, which will come probably in another 4 to 5 minutes' time, we'll have our guest joining us in the studio. As I mentioned earlier, she's Mausami Das Gupta, the principal of the DPS Academy, Dubai. But before that, let me do a little bit of racing against time, for I wish to share with you 2 common mistakes that parents make when it comes to motivating their children. Okay, the first one is fairly common. That's when your child comes home and tells you, well, I've got this exam coming up and I'm really trying hard for it. What do I get if I get a first prize? Or he comes and says, I've got this competition, a public speaking competition, and I'm really preparing hard. What will I get if I get a first prize? And I often hear most parents say, oh, if you get a first prize, we're going to get you a new Xbox game, I'm going to take you here, I'm going to buy you a new bike. Now, the question that I want to ask you is, how different is this from bribing? Because when you bribe somebody, you bribe them because you want them to do something for you. You want them to do something special, out of the way for you, and so you promise them money in advance, and in return they do that for you. Now, how different is this act from bribing? Because the point is, if they get a first position in a competition, in a very tightly fought competition, or if they get a first prize in a prestigious exam, that's good for them. In fact, they're the winners. They're gaining from it. Why do you have to pay them for that? So, for example, let's say my son comes home and tells me, Dad, I've got the speaking competition and I'm going to get the first prize. What are you going to get? And I'll tell him, well, you're going to get the first prize. And he'll tell me, no, I know I'm going to get the first prize, but what else am I going to get? And I tell him, whoa, you'll get a lot of things. You'll probably get a lot of appreciation from your teachers, from your parents, a lot of accolades. You can post the news on Facebook, and a lot of people are going to like it and comment on it and share it. You will have that surging feeling within you that you've really done well. Well, these are things that you get along with your prize, of course, Aman. And he'll tell me, he'll give me that look and he'll say, no, but I'm talking about what you'll give me, a gift. And I'll tell him, no way. You contest for the examination, you win, you get the honors and you get the credits, and now why should I pay for it? Yeah? When a competition looms ahead of you, you should aim to win it, because that's going to make you a winner. That's going to give you a feeling that you've really fought against all the odds and you've made it big. And that feeling inside you will help you to make success a habit. You cannot link that to something that's sitting on a rack in a toy store. We call that extrinsic motivation. Linking something or the effort of kids to something that you can buy with money. That's extrinsic motivation. And if you continue to do that, next time you're not able to do that, of course the motivation levels are going to fall. So definitely, my dear parents, let us not bribe our children for doing something good for themselves. Am I saying that you should not appreciate them? Not at all. You can. They perform well, they come back home, you appreciate them, and if possible, get them a gift. But never promise that in advance. Never make that a condition, a stated condition for succeeding in life or succeeding in a competition. Well, on a particular occasion, if you don't feel like buying something, don't buy it. Let them understand that they'll have to be contented with the sheer feeling of joy that they get when they win. Okay? So please don't bribe your children. The second mistake that I often see is, I'm sure our parents read a lot about the need to appreciate children, okay? Especially kids who probably don't do quite well compared to their peers. So you have the urge to appreciate them. Now, how do you appreciate them? Now, this is the problem. Appreciating them is not a mistake, but the way you appreciate them could lead to problems. I've often seen parents tell kids, you're smart. Oh my God, you're brilliant. Or sometimes they say you're sharp or you're intelligent. Unfortunately, that's the wrong way of appreciating people. Let me tell you why. Extensive research was conducted on the way we appreciate, and in a particular situation, students were divided into two groups, okay? And both groups were given complicated math tests, math problems to solve. Level 1 was easy, level 2 would be hard, level 3 would be harder, and so on, a series of tests. In the first group, every time students would crack a question, a tough question, teachers would come in and parents would come in and say, "Whoa, you're intelligent, you're smart, you're great." In the second group, teachers would go in and say, "Great effort. You're really trying hard." See the difference in the way they're appreciating? You're really trying hard. You're putting in a lot of effort. You're really, really determined to solve the problem. Okay? Now what happened? When it came to level 3 and level 4, the students who were appreciated for being smart, they stopped trying. Now psychologically, why would they have stopped trying? Because by appreciating their intelligence and by telling them they're intelligent, the idea that gets passed on is that intelligence is something fixed. And when they're faced with a tough problem, what happens is, "Oh my God, I'm not getting it. What if I get it wrong? You know, people will think I'm not intelligent. People will call me a dumbo." But because they were scared of being labeled not intelligent, they stopped trying. On the other hand, when students were told that your success is linked to your efforts, they thought, okay, this is a tough problem. Intelligence is something that's flexible. If I put in more effort, definitely I can crack these problems. And of course, such occurrences have been seen in many different studies. So please don't go and appreciate your kids by telling them, "You're smart, you're dad's boy, you're the best, you've always done well, you'll do well again." The right way to appreciate your children is to talk about their efforts. If your child paints well, okay, don't go and call him a genius. Tell him, "Oh, well, you've tried hard. You've worked really hard. You've tried a lot to come up with this wonderful painting." If your child comes home with a trophy, tell him, "Wow, you've really put in effort." And make sure that you link the concept of effort to success. So they won't be beaten down by the wrong notion of intelligence which is fixed. They'll realize that, well, it's going to be tough, but if I strive more, burn a little more of midnight oil and go behind it, I'll definitely be able to crack it. So I thought I'll share these two common mistakes parents make. It's our time for our first break right now. Okay, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll have Ms. Maushami Das Gupta in the studio with us. Please feel free to join us in the conversation. Note down the numbers below, call us, and we'll make sure we'll address your questions on air. So see you on the other side of this short break.